If someone did not join through a computer, uh, please take one. So I want everyone to do this. So this is not code which we are going to do today. So it's going to be something called as Git. If someone has any idea on it, can tell me. Okay. Uh, go to the chat group and check out the link which I just shared, and download that application and install it in your machine. So that's going to help for this session. So I'll give you like 5 minutes. Uh, Please do that. By 8:20, let's pick someone up, and I think someone needs to help here in doing this. If you have any questions in installation, let me know. Yeah, has anyone installed it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So so what we are going to do today is, I think everyone should follow whatever is happening in the call. Yeah, also, okay, I think anyone else completed? Okay, and also whoever has completed, so just can you create a GitHub account? Let me share you the link here. So it should be pretty straightforward. If you have one already, yeah, that's fine. Okay, let me get started. So I hope everyone has done. If you have any questions, you can just ask. For the So this session is more going to be on the terminal. You won't be seeing any UI here. Sharing my screen. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So today's session is going to be on Git. So Git is Git is actually a protocol, and people might have heard about GitHub or Bitbucket or Git Tower. There are multiple websites like this. So these websites help us in creating our repositories. So repositories are basically the place in which you can hold your code. So like you can store your code, and it's not just that. You can also see the changes that you have done to your code through these repositories. So all of these options are enabled through the Git. So Git is the underlying protocol which is being used by all of these websites. So they are just like the wrapper for Git. So yeah, when okay, as of now, I'll show everything in my local. So, and at the end, I need someone to share your screen, and please create a GitHub account. And yeah, I need that person to show the other things which you can do in Git through the GitHub pages. So let me get started. So so usually what you do is Git is not just for coders. You can also store revisions of your work. So maybe you're a graphic designer and you're creating multiple versions of your, let's say, image or logo, something that that you have done. You can also have multiple versions of it stored in the Git, so that you'll be easy to pick up the different changes that you brought to that image easily. Which in local, I think people will start adding 1 2 3 4 5 6 in their local, which may be understandable by that person, but it's not manageable. So, and also, if you guys have any questions in using a terminal, I can help you out. I'm currently in in this folder called teach slash git, which is inside my user. Yeah, yeah. So this is the path, and first, when you install the Git app, you will be able to access a command line utility called Git. When I type Git, you will see these instructions printed here. So we will be going through, I think, half of these. so which are like pretty basic and simple. So what you can do in Git is you have a folder. Let's assume that you have a folder. In that folder you have your code. What you do is in let's say we have GitHub, and now this folder is what we call as the repository. So now we are going to push this repository to GitHub so that your code is basically saved in the cloud. Okay, so and whenever you need it, you can pull it. So if someone else has done some changes to your code in the same repository, you will be able to receive those changes for you in your computer. So the main purpose of using a GitHub is because when people are working in the same project, they tend to work on the same file at some point. And if two people are doing changes to a same file, it's going to be tedious to check and combine those changes, because it's going to mostly it will involve the two persons, or if there are multiple people, it's going to be much trickier. So in this case, Git is going to help us. So now what we do is, we as a developer, we will write our code in our local and then push it to a repository. Push this repository. It can be of any. It can be of any Git provider. Yeah, we have Atlassian's Bitbucket, and also GitHub is, yeah, I think it's more popular than that. You can use any. That there's no difference. They have difference in terms of some services that they provide, which is not that much important in this. So here what you do is you create a repository, you then push it to the remote repository. So we have this segregation called your local and the remote. So your local is the code that is present in your local, and remote, yeah, is in the cloud, so basically in GitHub. So that's the segregation here. So you have some local code, you make changes to that local code, then you push it to the remote, so that anyone else can pull the changes and access it. So that's how it works. So here we have this folder, but this folder, the first command which I'm going to talk about is, this folder is basically empty now. The first command which I'm going to talk about is git init. So this command is going to initialize this folder as a repository. So only then you will be able to use the functionalities of Git. Only if some folder is considered as a Git repository, it is going to be able to use the commands that are provided through Git. So when I type git init, you will see that initialize empty repository inside this folder, and you can see that there is something called as .git. So in terminal, if you type ls, you won't be able to see anything. And also people who are using Windows, when you install the Git application, you'll be able to see that there is a new terminal called Git Bash that is installed for you. Only where you will be able to use these commands called as ls, because ls is the command that is specific to Linux and Unix systems. So, but that won't work in Windows unless you use a different terminal, such as Git Bash, or it might work in Cygwin. So yeah, once you install that, you can use ls. Ls is just to list the contents of the directory. When I type ls, it's not going to show me anything because the directory is empty, but it actually is not. Let me type ls-a, which is to show all files. uh, -a now enables us to view all the files which are hidden. So in Linux, anything that starts with a dot is considered as hidden. So you can see we have three things listed here. So this dot slash is actually representing the current directory, and dot dot slash is representing the previous directory. So that's not needed for us. For now, we only need this. There is a folder called .git which is created in your current directory. which is inside this directory. So that folder is going to make the difference whether it is a normal folder or a repository. So that's where we are going to have this difference. Let me, yeah, there is another command called git status. Let me type that and I will explain you what this command is. Git status, you can see it says that on branch master, no commits yet, nothing to commit. So this is what it says. So if I remove that .git folder, now so to remove, I have to use the command rm and with r, so which means recursively remove. This should be used if you're trying to remove a directory. I'm removing it. Yeah, now it's removed. And if I type the same command again, git status, you will see that not a git repository. It's because a .git folder is not present. So that's what happened when we when we typed this command called git init. When I type git, so let me currently show you ls-a. We don't have anything else in this folder. So these are just pointers to the current and previous folders. That's not something which we need to keep in mind. So I don't have anything here. When I type git init, it's going to create the .git folder for me, which is going to contain some files which are used for managing this repository. So now that folder is created. Let me type ls-a. Yeah, that folder is created, and now if I type git status, we will be seeing that same message here. So now this means that if something like this shows up, it means that it is a repository. And yeah, I'm also going to use some commands here for creating files and also modifying files. So first, I'm going to use echo. Echo is a command which will take in some arguments and throw that as the output, like a print in print or console log in the languages that you had read. So this is something you do in Bash. Basically, this is what we call as shell scripting. And here I'm just echoing out, let's say hello. So this is what happens when you do echo. It's just basically going to print whatever is given to it. So when I do echo, and if I use this angle bracket, the right angle bracket, which is the greater than symbol, it's going to write to a file. So let's say this hello.txt. Let's say this is the file which I want this text to be written. And if I press enter, now I'll be able to see. If I open the file or just print the contents of file, you can use the command called cat and print hello.txt, which is going to print all the contents of the file. Press enter. Yeah, you will be see that this file now contains the text called hello, which we tried to push in through this uh, right angle brackets, which is called as redirection. So this is called as output redirection, where you are redirecting the output from a command to a file. So yeah, that's what we basically have done. Now if I type the same command called as git status, what happens is you'll see the difference here. So here we have that file showing in our git status. What this means is that it says it's an untracked file, which means that in git repository there are 3 stages. The first stage is untracked. The second thing is unstaged files, and third is staged files. So first is untracked files. So untracked files are the new files which you add to your repository, which are not already known by the repository. Okay. So the second stage is unstaged files. So these are the files which are already there in your repository, but it is modified
it is modified now, but it is not yet been pushed to the remote. So those are called as unstaged files. The third stage is the staged files. In staged files, you will have the files which you wish to push to your repository. So maybe you have made changes for 5 to 6 files, but it's not necessary that you need to push all those files. In that case, you will only stage the necessary files that you need to push. Maybe you have done two different fixes, bug fixes, and you need to move only one of them right now. Maybe one is not complete yet. So in this case, you will just push the files that are necessary for fixing that first bug. So in that case, you will first move it to the staged status. Okay. So after staging, what you do is you will commit these files. So commits are like the essential blocks in the Git. So these commits, if anyone knows what a blockchain is, so Git is also similar to a blockchain. It is actually going to form a block which is going to contain the changes to your previous revision. So now this is a repository. Now this repository does not have anything in it except for this file. Let me open this repository in VS Code. We can do the similar things in VS Code itself. You can see we have this hello.txt, and here this third option is called as the source control. So when you go to the source control, now you will be able to see that it says there is one file which is mentioned under changes. So, and this U is actually used for marking it as the untracked. Uh, and if I need to make this, now assume that I need to push this change. So this is some code I have added. Now I need to push this change to uh, now I need to push this change to the remote. First I need to commit the change. So how you can do that is, first let's see the git status. If I put git status, so whatever is shown in red is not added, and whatever is shown in green has been staged. So so stage something, you have to use the command called git add, and you need to specify the file which you want to stage. So hello, that's the file which you want to stage. I just press tab, which is for auto completion, and it just picked up that file. So git add hello.txt is going to add this file to our repository, because it is unknown to the repository previously. So if I type git status now you can see the same thing is shown here in green color, which means these files are staged. Okay, changes to be committed. So that's what it means. Staging area is where your changes that are ready for committing goes. So now you can see we have two drop downs. First is the changes, and second is the staged changes. So only the things that you have in the staging area is going to be committed. So for that, let me show something called as git log. So git log is where you will be seeing all the commits that you have done previously. But we haven't done any commit yet, because we are just trying to stage the first file in our repository and trying to commit it. So we don't have any commits yet. So it's going to show something similar to an error. Yeah. You can see your current branch master does not have any commits yet. That's what it says. So now, again, I'll put git status. You can see that we have one file in the staged, we have a one stage file. To commit it, we have this command called git commit. The other argument will be -m for message. So this commit is going to contain a message. So how this helps is that if someone is looking into this specific commit, they will be able to understand what is the purpose of this commit. You may have fixed some bug. You can also link the bug ID here so that people will look into that bug and see if the commits are relevant to the bug, or if something is not complying with the issue that is mentioned there. So first, so you'll provide a message here. So there are different conventions in providing a message. So all we can say is add hello.text, because we haven't done anything meaningful here. So I'm just saying add hello.text and press enter. The command is git commit -m and the message inside quotes. So press enter, and you can see we have some text printed here, and yeah, so I'll explain you what these are. So first, let me show you the git status first. Now if I show you the git status, it actually says nothing to commit and the tree is clean. But previously we had this one file which is not there right now. What happened is this change is basically recorded in our system, okay? Recorded in this repository. So everything that is already recorded, it's not going to be showing in the status. So only the things that are changed or newly added will be shown under the git status. Here I'm going to check if I had committed properly. So how I can do that is git log. When I type git log and enter, you'll be able to see, yeah, so this is the commit which I made. So here we have, this is what we call as the commit ID. So it is a hash. This commit ID is what you can refer this specific commit from anywhere in your repository. So yeah, this has some information about author and also when it was done, and we have this commit message. Now what we can do this, we will be, at the end we will be pushing these codes, and anyone who has access to this repository in remote will be able to see these changes. So now if I go back to VS Code, you will see that, yeah, this actually updates based on the commands that we do here. It refreshes when such commands are run, and in VS Code you will be able to see the similar things and also do everything that you do here in terminal. But it's good to use terminal uh, because it will give you a much better understanding, and at times you will be stuck with some issues in git, and also there will be problems that can only be resolved by using the command, not through the interface that is given in VS Code. So it's always good to learn how to use it through command. So anyhow, we will see how to do it in the VS Code itself. So here you can see we have multiple. So this third option is the source control, and here in the first tab we have this changes, and whenever there is something staged, you will see that staged files also here, but currently nothing is there. That's why that drop down is missing. And second, we have commits. So here the only commit that we have done here is being shown. And third, yeah, we have repositories. So yeah, currently it's like we have only one repository, and it, so this is going to show the details under your repository. So there are multiple informations that are available inside this repository. So I think anything underneath this bit more complex for to tell now. Next. So, so now what I'm going to do is we have the same file. Now I'm going to make a change to this file. Let's make this as hello world and save it. Now if I go here, now it's refreshing. Did you see that? And we can see that the number has become 1. If I pull down this drop down, I'll be able to see we have this hello.txt here showing under changes, but previously it was showing as u because it was untracked, because that file was not known to this repository previously. But now things have changed. This repository already has that file, except that the file's contents have changed. So here, now it means, what it means is that it is modified. So M means modified, and I'll show you the same thing here. When I put git status, so previously, if you remember, we saw that it was showing under untracked files because that file was not known before. But now it's showing under the changes not staged to commit. So these are the unstaged files. So because this file is already present in this repository, and it also says in what has happened to this file. If you had deleted this file, it would show deleted, or it is actually quite smart that it will be able to identify that you have moved some file, or it will show it as rename. So that's how Git works. So yeah, so we have hello world here. I did this change, and so yeah, when I double click on this file which I made changes, you can see on VS Code will open something like this, where on the left you will be seeing the file which was which was there before and how it is changed right now. So you can see, I'm not sure if you do see it. So left to this space, we are having the text in the same color as here, but after that it actually is much lighter. So you can see it from this point to here, because so only the changes are happened from this point till the end. So anything before that did not change, like the word hello did not change. So what Git is going to do is, if you commit this change to, now it's going to understand that this file is not changed. Only the contents of it is changed, and only a specific part of its content has changed. So it only moves those changes as a new commit. It's not going to move this whole code again as a new commit. Why I'm talking about this is because that's how the source control systems which were created in the beginning used to work. So you, let's say you have a repository of 1,000 files, and when you commit it, it's going to add all those 1,000 files uh, as a new commit. So whenever you commit, let's say you commit like 4 to 5 times a day, now it's going to add all the 1,000 files as in the new commits. Now you basically have increased the size of your repo from the let's say, let's call the basic file sizes, the 1,000 file sizes, X. Now it's 5x because you have committed it 5 times. But it is different with Git. So Git only takes the changes. So even if you have 1,000 files in the beginning, if you change only 4 files in that, uh, only the changes in the 4 files are recorded, and the rest of them stays in their position how they used to be. So that's the advantage of Git, and it's much faster. So yeah, we see that here. This is called as the diff window. So we see the difference. So on the left will be the previous change, how it was, and on the right will be the new change. So if you think this change is correct, what you can just do here is, I'm going to the source control tab. I'm pressing plus here. So this plus is similar to git add, which we did. So you can see that it is also shown here, git add. So this plus is going to move this file to the staging area. So when I when I click the plus, it's going to move to the staging area, and it now shows under stage changes. Yeah, you can again bring it back to the unstaged area by using this minus, and the similar thing can be achieved here by using git reset. So let me once show you that it's in the green. Yeah, it's in the staged area. Now I'm using git reset and the file name. Again, I'll type he and press tab to auto complete it, and press enter. Now you can see unstaged changes after reset. So this is called, yeah, git reset. It basically resets the stage of the file. Now it goes back to the stage in which it was in, which is the unstaged version of it. So now if I type git status, it's going to show in red color because this is not uh, added for staging it. So let me go back here, and also you can see that the change is reflected here. I'll click the plus again. So once that is done, uh, now it is in the staged area. Here, instead of committing from terminal, which is by using git commit -m and a message here. So the if you're using VS Code, it's going to be much easier, where you'll be providing the message here itself. So let's say just changes hello to hello world. So, and here if you click this tick, it means that you are going to commit it. So when I click that, yeah, you can see that the file is committed, and you can see that the difference is gone now, because now there is no difference between the current file and the changes that we had in. So we basically don't have any changes here. That's why it's showing without any colors, because our last commit brought those changes to the repository, and now the repository is updated. It's in its latest version, I could say. So here I'm again going to type git log, and now you'll be able to see there are two commits. The first one is the add hello.txt, and the second is hello to hello world, which is the new commit that we have done using VS Code. So,
Vasan, meeting will end in few minutes, so we will have
okay,
a short break and we'll connect it. So,
okay. So yeah, let's. Do you guys have any questions now? Okay. Who is willing to like share your screen and do the steps which I tell you using GitHub?